Greetings, chess fans. It's time to wrap up the coverage from CES's Rapid Tournament because this video is going to feature my round 9, the final round game that I played in the event, and also it's going to be of extra beneficial for the players who really like the Sicilian Kan. So just to remind you, a couple of years ago on Chessable I released my second lifetime repertoires, Kan Sicilian, so all the ideas, typical maneuvers, how it then transposes to the Sicilian Scheveningen positions, you're gonna find in this video. So I'm hoping you're gonna find it instructive, and in case I don't make any more videos after this one, because I'm not really sure if I'm gonna make any, I'll be seeing you in the Build Chess Festival live coverage, which starts 12th of July. But either way, let's watch the video and have fun. I'm playing against Marat Franz, who is one of the most talented youngsters in Latvia. He's 16 or 17 years old, working very hard on chess lately, and he plays e4. Now, lately I've been playing a lot of Scandinavian. I have played the Scandinavian in the Latvian Championships twice, by the way, and I managed to play an immortal game in the process, which, by the way, you can see on my YouTube channel. But against Marat, I decided to try something I know really well, which is, you guessed what? Probably the Sicilian Kan. Sicilian Kan is one of my pet weapons. This is my second course. Lifetime Raptors Kan Sicilian. By the way, up to date. I looked up yesterday or day before yesterday, I don't remember. On Chessable, there's almost no courses on the Kan. Like, I don't understand why. There's like a million courses on Najdorf, on some other setups, but like for Kan, almost no courses. So basically, it's my course and that's it. But he played knight f3, e6, d4, c takes, knight e4, and a6. Now, Kan is a bit risky choice, and here you have to develop a pretty good feeling on the dynamics. But anyway, one of the big ideas why I put the pawn on e6 and a6 is to limit the scope of white's knights. Like, the knight's gonna go here, here, and potentially this knight gonna go to d5, and I'm thinking about some future ideas like b5, bishop b7. This dark square bishop very often operates on dark squares, and black tries to keep the pawn on d7 as long as you can, and we are not going to transpose to the Scheveningen positions unless we really have to. Anyway, there's like a million choices that I can do against the Kan. He played bishop d3, which has the reputation of one of the easiest setups that white can do, but it has a drawback, which is the knight on d4 now loses the support. And that's why bishop c5 is a pretty good move. And this bishop c5 is also one of the common strategies from black's perspective against all kinds of Sicilians. Like, there's a very famous theme, for example, knight c3, b5, bishop d3. In the tournament, I did play one game against Kristaps Kruskans a couple of rounds ago, queen b6, with the idea to push away the knight from the center so that I can develop my pieces, and the knight on b3 is going to be a bit further away to start a kingside attack. So bishop c5 is the same idea. It's the same idea. I just want to push the knight away from the center and then see what happens. So he went here and played bishop a7. Bishop e7 is also a move, a perfectly playable. Like, this probably is going to transpose to some Scheveningen positions, like queen g4. He tries to exploit weakness. I can go here, let's say, I don't remember the theory, something like this, 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 and this. So it's some sort of a Scheveningen, black, I'm sorry. Okay, let me not blunder the queen. Am I blundering the queen? Unbelievable. Let's play something like queen g3, knight c6, bishop h6, etc. Or knight e7, bishop f8, etc. So it's a different game. But again, the big idea is that for white, the knight on b3 is, in the long run, maybe not positioned on the best square. So I play bishop a7. This enables all kinds of tactical possibilities. Again, if white plays queen g4, I can go here. If white takes it here, there's all kinds of shots like bishop takes an f2. I think this idea I have executed in online blitz at least 3 times, if not more. So the big idea is king f2 is knight g4, and if white goes here, I think it was e5, and black secures a pretty big advantage. Stopping white c5, that's why I play e5 myself. So he played queen e2, which is one of the positional choices. I play knight e7. Yeah, the knight e7 move is something we recommend in the course that I wrote together with Igor Kovalenko. The idea is to play show castle, knight c6, and possibly play b5. And the knight on e7 is not really jumping under some e5 attacks, so knight f6, d6 also is a playable idea, but knight e7 somehow I find it to be more flexible. He played a castle, he played bishop e3, of course the bishop at a7 is annoying, he wants to kill it. I played knight c6, he took at a7, and I think that the best setup that white can do here is to play c4 and knight c3, but there's definitely some nuances. Like I can play d5, I can liquidate the position into something, or even in some lines I can play b5, sacrifice the pawn, and organize some queenside attack. He played knight e2, and now we transpose to the Scheveningen. And this, I think, is definitely something that the fans of the Sicilian Kan should remember, is that in some Scheveningen positions, you have the bishop on e7, right? So let's say here. You play something like, let's say d6, shoot castle, knight f6, let's say white plays knight c3, bishop e7, whatever. Bishop e3, shoot castle, queen e2, I don't know, knight e7, etc, etc, etc. So you see this bishop on e7 is not doing anything. Like, it's kind of protecting your position, but it's a pretty stupid bishop. That's why I'm actually killing a couple of birds with one stone. Like, I'm pushing the knight on d4 away from the game. So white is annoyed with the strength of the bishop on a7 that I have. He trades the bishop. Now I transpose to the Scheveningen position, and I'm about to play something like e5, further transposing to the Najdorf, where my bad bishop is traded, but I'm activating my Lesque bishop. Does rook a7 open tactical possibilities for white? In this position, I'm not really sure. Unless there's some queen e3 ideas, but you can see the rook on a7 is defended. And by the way, also, please understand this. You're probably watching this, you're wondering, yeah, but why not d5? Why not, you know, open up the position and then fight for the center like this? It's entirely possible, but you know, I think this position, there is a chance that you're gonna be left with a bad Lesque bishop. Like, now we have some sort of a French defense position, so white's gonna play c3, potentially either knight f3, knight e4, or maybe c3, f4, knight f3, and your bishop is silly. Like, it's not doing anything, so we have some French position where you played c5 and d takes on c5. This is what we have. Like, it's the advanced French. So that's why even if I can play the d pawn 2 squares forward, here it's not recommended. And the only difference, the only exception is in some lines of the Kan is that if white plays c4, then we can play d5. Because now white does not get to set up the perfect advanced French position. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Anyway, I don't really have to play d5. I can play d6 as well. So I play d6. And here, my opponent was visibly confused. Like, he was not sure what to do. And I thought, I mean, you gotta play a 4. You gotta play a 4 here. Go for some kingside attack, and I would have probably killed the bishop. Knight b4. He might play f5, try to instigate some activity. I can play b5 and take on d3 whenever the circumstances are right, like queen b7, rook c7, queen b6, rook c7. And f6, I don't think it's like a big deal. I can play knight g6, takes, rook g8, king h8, knight e5, and maybe I don't even take on d3. Who knows? We'll see. Actually, I hope I'm not blundering something here. Not really sure. Maybe I am blundering. I don't know. But anyway, I thought that he has to play f4. He played h3, and And as soon as I saw h3, I'm thinking, it's wrong. Like, why do you play h3? It's a move you simply do not know that you need. I mean, if you need, you can play c3, which I think is a far more useful move to you. Like, you stop knight b4, you keep the bishop here, and you can play knight e4 next. Like, c3 is a very easy move, and I would have played e5 anyway. Most likely tried to shut the knight on b3 from the game. So I think that's why he has to play a 4. So he plays a 4, and if I play e5, he plays a 5. And then he's storming with a king's-head attack, either like this, or g4, g5. I'm not really sure I can afford to play d5 sort of. Maybe I can actually. Maybe I can play something like d5. But this position, to be honest, looks a bit risky. Yeah, I think that white develops a pretty impressive king's-head attack. So I have to be a bit careful. He played h3 and I'm now playing e5. And this is also where you get to use some of the ideas from the Scheveningen. After f4, one of the common themes is you take on f4, you anchor your knight on e5, you put the bishop on e6, and you're as cool as a cucumber. Like, let's say white plays here, I don't know, knight c6, knight f3, let's say bishop e6. Something like this. And I have a very strong presence in the center. White king's-head attack is simply non-existent. Let's say if he takes it, I even have the choice to take either with the knight or take with a pawn. He's left with a silly bishop, let's say like this. I simply have the better position. I have the better bishop, I have the better knight, and his pieces are a bit awkward. Most notably the bishop on d3. So this is one of the common ideas of the Scheveningen. By the way, I was recently like a month ago, I was in TwitchCon in Rotterdam, and they taught me how do I pronounce Scheveningen. Because I was essentially saying all my life Sicilian Scheveningen. And then some Dutch people, they heard us and they were raising their eyebrows. What is Scheveningen? What on earth is Scheveningen? What are you talking about? And this is when they taught me. Actually, I'm not really sure if my pronunciation is perfect, but I think it's Scheveningen. Scheveningen. I think I got it pretty spot on. Anyway, now he played another weird move, knight f3. And I'm just improving my position. Rook a8. He played c3. I think c3 here comes a bit late. And here I made a pretty silly move. I played queen c7. Clearly not a universal move. I mean, I understood I have to play knight g6, knight f4, bishop e6, and possibly play f5, but somehow I convinced myself that queen c7 is the necessary move. I think the correct idea was to put the knight on g6 and queen on e7. So the queen is looking for the king's-head attack, but okay, whatever. Queen c7 is a very common Sicilian move. That's why I could not resist to make it. Can I play f5 immediately? Not here, probably, because he's gonna give me a check and play knight g5. And there's some queen h5, and there's some knight f7, and even if this tactically somehow works, why should I check it? So I think I should just play either knight g6 immediately or h6. And then proceed, maybe h6 f5, or maybe h6, queen e8 f5, queen g6. But anyway, I should go for the king's-head attack. So now I played h6, he was going after the pawn on d6, I knew he's not going to get very far. Bishop e6, rook d8, just in case, complete my development. And I was basically inviting him to play bishop c4. Then I can play bishop c8. And I thought that the bishop on c4 doesn't do anything because I can play b5. And even if he anchors the bishop on d5, I thought it's not a big deal. Because I can just kill it, I can use the other knight, and now I can play f5. Or bishop e6, let's say here, I play bishop e6, and it's not clear why he did this. Essentially, he traded the bishop on d3 for my knight on c6. Bishop on d3 is a pretty useless bishop, but if you look at the position more carefully, so is my knight on c6 as well. It's not doing anything. Like, it's a beautiful knight that does exactly nothing. So he went here. I went knight g6, I went knight e7, and about here I realized I should go for a direct king's-head attack. Like 5, knight f4, etc. But one of the reasons why I was not really rushing with a 5 I wanted to give the opportunity for my opponent to do something silly. Like, this is, by the way, answering question by Richie 1 out of 5 immediately. I know that probably White has done nothing terribly wrong. Like, he has a bit weird position, the weakness of the 4 is there. But first I would like to see if he commits to something more committing. Like in this position, let's say here. What if he plays Queen e3, Knight g6, Bishop f1, Knight e7? I kind of imply that I want to go for the kingside attack, and maybe he plays g3 just to cover that 4 square. But actually what he's doing, he's weakening the king even further. So I get to play f5. Let's say he takes it, I get to play knight f5. There's all kinds of e4, e3 ideas to get to the pawn on g3. Maybe queen f7. The pawn on g3 now is a target. So that's why I thought that this could favor me, and this is also one of the reasons why I was not really rushing with the idea to play f5 and knight f4. I was hoping he's going to do something at the king side, which is going to facilitate my attack. So he went here, I went here, now he went back. I play king h8 just in case, you know, not really rushing with things and giving him the opportunity to make a mistake. I play knight f4. So this is like a provocation. I want him to play king h2 g3. I want him to do this so that he creates weaknesses to the king side. He doesn't do that. He's seeking c5, so I play b6. He plays rook c2, and here I'm like, okay, listen. It's pretty obvious he's not going to play king h2. He has figured out what I'm planning to do, that I'm waiting for his weaknesses. I'm thinking, I gotta strike right now. I gotta do it right now. So f5, I want to take on e4, play bishop f5, and the queen and the rook are positioned in the same diagonal, and if I have to do this, it's gotta be now. And here he very quickly played, boom, knight e4. I was like, wait, what? This cannot work. Like, I gotta confess, I completely missed this move. So the idea is that if I take on d4, my knight on the 4 is ganging, but I have like million opportunities here. I can take on h3 first, and then take on d4. Like even this position, takes, and bishop c8. It should be better for me. His king is weak. So I was not very concerned, even though I blundered this. I took on d4, I took on e4. This is something I very quickly noticed. I won the exchange. And now it's time to mop up. So after the game, I talked with my opponent, and he said he was very optimistic about his chances right here. So he was very happy to play knight d4, which I was very surprised to hear. Like, I thought that this position, even if you see you're dropping the exchange, this position cannot be good for you. Especially since I got to play knight c6, I cannot keep the pawn on d4, and I have an exchange for a pawn with a pretty simple position. Actually, here I was thinking maybe I should sack the exchange for the easier game, like takes, and knight c6, but I'm keeping my pawn on d4 alive, but I'm not really sure if I have anything. Let's also not forget that I have my own weaknesses at the light squares as well, so probably it's not even working. So I play knight c6, takes, and here it's actually quite unforgivable. I simply missed I can play d5, which is something I cannot explain, like trading a weakness. He cannot take on d5 because the queen on c2 is pinned, and this is just a technical position. Like, I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna win this, but what I want to do, I want to trade my weakness, trade the queens, trade the rooks, have 2 pawns against 2 at the queen side, 2 against 3 at the king side. Rook versus bishop should dominate. If I get this position, rook versus bishop, and every other piece is traded, it should be a technical win. But I missed it. So I play rook e8. Instead, I noticed I can improve my pieces. Threaten like this. Now I need to protect my weakness. I target the pawn on f2. I create the pin. And here's the critical moment. I played queen f2. This, dear viewers, is going to be a small tutorial how you can set up a trap. And for you to be able to set up a trap, it's important that you use the so-called reverse thinking, or I call it very often backwards thinking. So your opponent played Queen of 2. You're trying to understand what does he want. He wants to play Rook D5. I think so, right? His pin is there, so he's pretty annoyed with the pin. He just played Queen of 2, Rook D5, traded queens, and even though he's down in exchange for a pawn, I have weakness on D6, and probably white is like sort of all right. So I'm thinking, can I set up a trap right here? He wants to play Rook D5 next. What do? I play Rook E8. Now, Rook E8 comes with a trap, meaning I'm kind of threatening to play Rook E1 check and Queen D4. So he spent here like, I don't know how many seconds, 20 seconds or so. He's about to touch the rook. I'm like, is he really going to do it? And he does. He plays Rook D5. So with a trap, I mean, I can give him a check. He plays Bishop F1. And he saw this position. He thought he's probably doing all right. My rook is under attack. The queen is under attack. The queen trade is inevitable. But I take on F1. He could have taken F1 with a queen. The queen is pinned. He has to take with a king. Queen C4. And here sets in the realization. White is dropping the rook. So he resigned. But this was a trap. I knew he wants to play Rook D5. So I played Rook E8 and I essentially served him a trap. I dug a hole and he went straight into it. So he had to, again, be a bit more cautious here. Play Bishop E4. And I would have played like B5, B3, takes Rook C4. I'm still playing for the win. Maybe actually in a time scramble also. White can be a bit ambitious here. He has a chance to organize a pass pawn on the queen side, pass pawn on the king side. Maybe my d pawn is going nowhere. But objectively, of course, black is still much better. He did not notice this. Again, tactics all over again. He missed my trap. And